since Spacies is now a member of the Ministry of Retro Gaming. State of the channel video for August 2018.
Since Spacies.
G'day invaders and welcome to Since Spacies, and this is my state of the channel video for the month of August, and I'll take a look back in these videos on what's happened on the channel and also what's ahead for the channel coming up in August. So I'm just going to start off by going on the achievements for the month. We had quite a bit happening, even though I only put out, I think it was 4 or 5 videos this month. They took quite a lot of effort to put together, and the reason being is they were the first reviews that I've done in over 20 years. So the last review I did was in Hyper Magazine. I don't know exactly what review that was. I'll have to go back and find out what that review was. It'll be interesting to find out what my last review in Hyper Magazine was. But yeah, this was the first time I've put together a review in all that time. And there's a lot of differences now between doing a review now in 2018 compared to doing a review back then for a magazine. So now, well, back then I used to just print it out, and I would print the review out after typing it up, and I would actually have to physically drive, because in 1995 I didn't have internet, and so I'd have to drive in to the Hyper Magazine and hand it in physically. And it was a good excuse to go into the hotline, not the hotline, sorry, into the Hyper Magazine office and just check out what they had new. Like I still remember going in there one time to hand in a review, and they were unboxing the Sega Saturn, and we were getting to play Daytona for the first time. We were so disappointed with that game, but it was still cool to be able to see it for the first time after just reading about it in magazines and previews and all the rest of it. So that was reviewing magazines back, reviewing games in 95. And now, once I review the game and I type it up, that's only half the job. I don't work for a magazine anymore. I don't have the luxury of just handing in that review and saying, there you go. So now I have to actually do the voiceover work and put the video together, and it's quite time consuming. So I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing out that it's actually, yeah, a lot of difference compared to reviewing a game back then. It takes quite a lot of time to put together. But having said that, I have got more reviews coming up. I'll be doing Shenmue remaster review. That's going to be interesting because it's just basically the same game but HD remastered. Well, not HD, but anyway, I'll go over that in my review coming up later this month. And that's a reminder that yes, Shenmue is coming up. A first release of a Shenmue title in, how many years would that be now? Quite a few years. It's 2001 I think was the last time a Shenmue release ever came out. So there's a whole generation of people out there that just, gamers that is, that just do not know what Shenmue's all about. So I don't know if Sega can rebuild the hype. It'll be interesting to see. In other news on the channel, last month for July, we had an interesting statistic for the views on my channel. Last month was the first time that a country outside of Australia led in the amount of views. So I had more people last month from the United States of America watching my channel than I had Australians watching. So that's an unusual statistic. I don't know if that means I'm going to get more exposure in the United States or if it's just a one-off, but that was really cool. So anyone that's from the United States out there who subscribes to the channel or is just watching in general, glad to have you on board. I'd like to see more Americans coming on board. And don't take the whole Nintendo bashing on this channel too seriously. It's just all in fun. You can see behind me I've actually got both Sega and also Nintendo stuff in my collection, so it is all just in fun. So this year I have featured on IGN.com with my Saving Sally and Sonic statue whole story that's happening lately with the Sega World statues. Also, I have featured on Kotaku for the same story. It's funny to see IGN and Kotaku fighting each other for that article. But also I have now featured on Nintendo Life for a Sega related news item. Yeah, I know, weird, huh? I did an unboxing of Sonic Mania, the Japanese version, and yeah, I managed to feature on Nintendo Life, so that was pretty cool. I hope to do more of that, and with what's coming up tomorrow, I might feature on another website. I don't know, because I've got a big podcast. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But yeah, big thanks to Damien for getting me on NintendoLife.com. I really do appreciate that. Now let's get into the top 5 videos for the month. We have at number 5, speaking of saving Sonic and Sally, my Save Sonic and Sally statue video is still getting a lot of hits, so that was pretty cool to see that make it into the top 5. Number 4 was my Shining Resonance Refrain review. Wow, tongue twister. So that was my first video on the channel that is a review, and it was my first review in over 20 odd years, so I'm glad you guys liked it. It was actually it was time consuming to put that together, so I'm glad it wasn't for nothing. And speaking of reviews, Sonic Mania Plus, I did a review on that for the channel, and that featured in the top 5. It actually came in at number 3. Really cool. Number 2 for the channel in the most watched minutes, that is, was my Yes Another Bloody Gaming Podcast number 11 video. If you haven't watched that, my podcast videos, I'm really proud of them, and I'm glad that you know, it's almost been a year since I last started doing it. I'm glad I took that change in a direction for the channel and started doing podcasts. Major it's a major thing to look forward to for me for running this channel. And my number 1 video was the Sonic Mania Plus unboxing video. You guys lapped it up. It's still getting a lot of hits even now as I'm recording this. And it's even made it into the number 7 most watched video on my channel of all time. So there, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's just weird. You don't know which video is going to make it big and which one's going to flop. So yeah, it's just good to see though that Sonic Mania video, the unboxing, I was so excited and couldn't wait to get that up on the channel. And yeah, it's made it into the top 10 most watched videos of all time on my channel. So I'm going to start doing something new for my once a month video, the State of the Channel video, and that is my Twitter, because I've got a very, very active Twitter account, coming up to 4,000 followers there, so that's pretty cool. If 4,000 people followed me on YouTube and subscribed, I'd have 4,000 subscribers. Wow, why don't you guys subscribe? That's just weird. Someone said that to me. I just couldn't help but point that out. They said, you got 4,000 followers, but you don't have 4,000 subscribers. I don't know. Subscribe to Spacies, damn it. So my top tweet for the month was my Remember Xbox Blades tweet. So basically I put up, I just looked up a picture of the old Xbox Blades dashboard and for the 360. And I thought, yeah, that was really cool. Wonder why they moved away from that dashboard. So I put that up, you know, memories and all that stuff. And you guys really got on board and you liked it, shared it, commented on it. It was mostly a lot of people saying that, yeah, they should bring it back. Let me get one thing straight. The Xbox Blades dashboard belongs in the mid 2000 noughties. It's not something that they should be bringing back. I do appreciate though the fact that it was easy to navigate, but geez, there was a lot of real estate on the left and right that just got wasted. So no, we're not asking for Xbox to bring Blades back. It's just a nice look back at what used to be and how it's changed since then. Anyway, also the top mention was, of all people, Carbon Knights Gaming. They made a mention of me. I don't even know what it was in relation to. So saying, I'll see your Since Spacies bar and I'll raise you a Deli Alley Fortnite celebration, where he did that Fortnite reference. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, that got in the mentions. My top follower is Puppies. Hi Puppies. Don't know why you're following a video game site. It's weird, the people that follow you on Twitter. I don't get it. And the top media tweet, well, I did a I posted up a picture of this thing, the Nintendo 64 Pikachu edition, and it was actually fired up and working. So that made it to number 1 for my most looked at and viewed photo on Twitter. So that was pretty cool. So coming up, I've got my podcast, the big one. I have got Al Nilsson, the former Sega marketing director of Sega of America. I have also got DJ Slope coming on, the massive YouTuber. He'll be featured on as a podcast guest. I have Lizzie the Hedgehog. She is a diehard Sega fan, and she's got a very cool story to tell about why Sega means so much to her. And I've also managed to track down one of my old colleagues from here at the Sega hotline in Australia, in Sydney. Tim will be featuring on that podcast as well as a late addition to that podcast. I spoke to him just a couple of days back, and that was for the first time I've spoken to him in over 20 years. And it's just weird when you haven't spoken to someone for such a long time, and then you speak to them again, and you can see that the same personality's there, but they've changed. 20 years have changed the person. I'm not saying for good or bad, I'm just saying he's not the same person back then. And we got to talking about how we were all young out of high school and naive, and yeah, I'm sounding like an old man now, but it was just weird to speak to someone for such a long time gap apart. He'll be on there because he was talking about some pretty cool stories, stuff that I forgot about on the Sega hotline. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted him on this podcast. Please subscribe. There's a lot of cool things coming up on Spacies, and this is all just part of it. If you've got any suggestions for videos that you would like to see come up on the channel, any games you would like to see me review, please leave a comment and I'll see what I can do to get that to happen. In the meantime, my name has been Brian, and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks, guys.
Since Spacies.